What do you do with $100,000? It was 1983. I was driving down Interstate 4 in Orlando, Florida, and I was following a pretty woman in a red Ferrari. I knew her, and she knew me. In fact, her husband had introduced us. Well, the story is that this woman was the wife of a client of mine, and she and her husband owned a 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility on the west side of Orlando, Florida. I was a commercial real estate broker, and their 40,000 square foot facility needed to grow to 80,000 square feet, and I was the guy who was the broker. But I was more than a broker. I was broke. I had just started my business. I had left the Trammell Crow Company where I had been working for a period of time. I'd also started a greeting card company so that I was in the publishing business way back then, and I was struggling. I was up to here in credit card debt. I had a line of credit with the bank to do the business. That was at its maximum. Things were tough. So the day that I got a call from Sherry's husband and he said, "Kevin, come on down, I want to talk to you about the property and what we're doing," I hurried on down there because customer service was my middle name, and this was one of my big deals, and I needed this. So I hurried on down there and I met with him, and this was the most meaningless meeting I can ever imagine. Within about 5 minutes he was done with me. We didn't really talk about anything, and then I got the bombshell. "Hey Kevin, listen, would you do me a favor?" "Sure, what can I do?" After all, he'd already gotten me there on a whim. And he said, "Listen, would you mind giving Sherry, following her on up to the Ferrari dealer so that she can get some service done on her car and then bring her back? Ever ready? Take care of the customer?" That was me. I said, "No problem." So I got in my car, she got in her red Ferrari, and by the way, they had two red Ferraris, kind of like the Tom Selleck looking ones, and literally at the front it said his and hers, and they parked them that way in front of the building. So these people had money. Well, I'm heading down the highway behind Sherry, and I'm driving along, and she's got this Ferrari. And all of a sudden it dawns on me, you know what? I just allowed myself to be used. And he chose to abuse me. Now, he gave me the choice of saying, "Would you mind?" And I went for it. So now he had me with a ring around my nose. And as I'm driving up there, I'm getting angrier and angrier at me. Well, I got Sherry home safe and sound that day, but I was dangerously damaged. I really saw the world differently in terms of how people would use you. Well, I continued to work that deal. It was going nowhere in a hurry. He was putting me off. Lots of odd things were happening with it, and it never really came about the way I was hoping it would come about, but we continued to have conversations. Well, the good news is that my bad fortunes did turn around. About 2 months later, I had a project that out of the blue that I've been working on for about 2 years finally closed. And with that, I got a check for $102,000, and I put that check in my pocket. As it would be, the very next day after that closing, lo and behold, I get a call, and it's my client. He says, "Kevin, can you come on over right away? I'd like to visit with you about the property." So, ever being dutiful, I got in the car, drive over, and he says, "I want to introduce you to my new business partner. This is Rocky." Now, Rocky looked like some thug from New York. He talked like some guy who was just not the kind of person I want to do business with. And it was in that moment that I said, you know what? I think that we should stop this relationship. I don't believe it's going anywhere, and I think you just need to go on and do business with somebody else. His eyes kind of lit up, and he was like, "Okay, no problem." And I walked out the door. What's the moral of this story? The moral of the story is not that if you've got money, you can be obnoxious. That wasn't it. I was not obnoxious, I was polite. The difference is, what it says is you want to make decisions regardless of whether you have the money in your pocket or not. You always have to think as though you've got $100,000 in your pocket, or whatever the amount of money is that is overwhelmingly rich to you. Because if you make the decision based mostly on the money, you're inevitably going to get yourself into the wrong place with the wrong people at the wrong time. And so what I want to encourage you is to really, truly make decisions on the right reasons. Think through about what you're doing. Otherwise, you will get yourself so off purpose, you won't know what happened to you. You'll end up on Interstate 4 following a pretty woman in a red Ferrari and thinking to yourself, why did I get myself in this position? So this is Kevin McCarthy with today's On Purpose Business Minute, encouraging you to be on purpose.